And everybody knows movies were invented in the 1890s when Charles Movie tried to take a picture twice. Ever since that fateful day, there's been endless discussion and arguments over what qualifies as a good movie. Does anything qualify as a good movie? Does a Blu-ray copy of John Wick 2 really belong next to the Mona Lisa? Yes. That painting fucking sucks. Like, I've never understood, like, what questions am I supposed to ask when I look at this painting? What are these questions everyone's talking about? Like, I don't know, does she like Among Us? She like playing crewmate or imposter more? What's her favorite map? Is it the Skeld? I could ask all these questions to the Mona Lisa, and the only thing she'd have to say is, "What soap? I smell like garbage and my pussy sucks." What was I talking about? There's a lot of different movies and a lot of different types of movies too. Everyone has a different taste or certain thing that they look for in a movie. Film bros will sing the praises of artsy films like Synect Douchebag New York, Sallow 100 Days of Summer, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, or Come and See. Yeah, come and see these nuts. By the way, in case you're unfamiliar, film bros are people who think watching movies is a skill and will refuse to watch anything Marvel except for Into the Spider-Verse in exchange for these like artsy black and white films by like Belarusian directors that are like 4 hours long and they're about like the bird holocaust or some shit. You know, and now I think dudes get into like real film as a vehicle for getting pussy from like the art girls at their school who like smoke cigarettes and won't reply to me on Tinder.
They ask you how you are, you just have to.
But you know, in my experience, the only movies those girls like is Donnie Darko Director's Cut. Just get Donnie Darko's Director's Cut. You'll do fine. Goth girls love Donnie Darko. But if you're a real person and not like an exaggerated straw man I made up for this joke, you know that there are actually also a lot of other movies out there that aren't about women getting impregnated by cars. Jay Bauman, you sick fuck. And speaking of cars fucking people up, The Fast and the Furious. Yeah, now those are movies.
I said forget about it, cuz.
You see, back in late June, early July of 2021, I was having what we in the business call a "your girlfriend broke up with you due to fundamental personality differences" type of week. And I did what anybody really not trying to think about it would do. I watched every Fast and the Furious movie. These movies are just awesome, pure adrenaline, pure testosterone. Just none of it makes any fucking sense, and it is the best. Like, these are the perfect movies for when you're not trying to think about how you're never gonna hold her hand again.
So forget about it, cuz.
But these movies are also kind of controversial. You see, film snobs will turn their noses up to it and take any excuse they can to be like, actually, that would be impossible. Like, oh my god, you're right. Fuck, dude, I thought Vin Diesel really he didn't do that? Oh my god, dude, you're so good at movies. I could probably talk about all of these movies at length, and you know, given my subscriber base of Initial D fans and car guys, it'd be a pretty good idea for me to do that. So, I'm here to announce that today, I'm going to be talking about the third movie. Hey, review Wangan Midnight. I'll fucking get to it, shut up. Tokyo Drift is everything that a cool movie should be. Really cool. Aggressively cool. This is the type of movie you'll find selling you cigarettes and codeine cough syrup behind the school. From a brief glance, Tokyo Drift looks like your standard issue cinema for white dudes named Tyler with big pants and even bigger dreams of crashing their dad's 2003 Toyota Camry in the Costco parking lot trying to do donuts. Wait, I said that already. You got the hot sports cars and the hot girlfriends and all the video games and the oversized jeans and your big skateboarding shoes. You guys make me sick. Literally sick. Hang on, let me call a doctor. This is like the most 2006 movie of all time. You watch this movie and two words keep escaping from your lips. Hell yeah. And Tokyo Drift isn't just my favorite entry in the series, it's actually a pretty popular pick for everyone's favorite film. Many people like it, they're saying it everywhere in various places. But if everyone likes it, why am I talking about it? Why don't I go back to doing my usual contrarian bullshit about how, My Sims Party is the best Wii game? You know what, that's not a bad idea. I'm talking about it because you don't like this movie enough. Yeah, I said it. I'm putting you on the spot. You don't know how good this movie actually is. You like the cool cars, you like the hot girls, but do you know the philosophy? Do you know the symbolism? Do you know, some other third thing? Cause I'm going off script? But before I can do that, I'm gonna have to go, hack fraud, Jordan Fringe mode, and list out every single thing that happens in the movie, chronologically while making no jokes. I have to do it. Tokyo Drift is a story of love, a story of vengeance, and a story of self-discovery. Sean Boswell is your average, everyday, 24-year-old, 17-year-old, southern drawn high school student. And he just got the speeding ticket of his life. Yep, that's him. Let's rewind a little bit. Sean is your average, everyday, greasy-haired guy with gray t-shirts. Look at that haircut. The haircut fucking sucks. Fuck your barber, dude. You should kill that man. Damn, he got your shit lined up like a rat. You got rat hair, dude. Dude, you got rat hair, dude. Sean always reminds me of that kind of guy who was like in your geometry class and didn't say much, but he always had like a Mountain Dew Code Red or a big jug of water, and then he'd spill it on the floor and the teacher would be like, "God damn it, Jeremy, go get the paper towels!" Sean is quiet and reserved. He's your type of bumblebee character, you know, don't fuck with me, I won't fuck with you. He's not so good at math, but he's pretty good at cars, and he doesn't give an F about school spirit. Which I find pretty relatable because I'm gonna dox myself here a little bit. Story time. My high school's school song has a line where they say, "For these colors we would gladly die." Folks, no, I would not. So Sean is walking to his car after school when he's approached by the kid from Home Improvement who wants to force his cuckoldry fetish on him by allowing his girlfriend to bet herself as a prize on a street race. Technically, he crossed the finish line first. The police offer him an ultimatum. You either go to prison for destroying this neighborhood development, or you go to Japan. It's not fair. It's not fair, you know? I want to go to Japan. What do I... Can I commit some crimes? I want to see the anime girls. I want to... Why does he get to do it? I want to go. Anyway, Sean goes to Japan and we meet his father, who is one of my favorite characters in cinema history. When we first meet him, he is very clearly being caught banging a prostitute. My man, dap me up. This also retroactively confirms that Sean's mother is probably also a prostitute. I mean... Who else wears cheetah print to a police station? Anyway, Sean's dad starts the movie off as this, "Boy, you better fly straight or you're gonna ship out, son." But like immediately, like it's like Sean joins the Yakuza 12 hours later. Like, man, I love you, dude, but you're bad at this. Probably from the lack of experience, you know, since he abandoned his family to join the Navy and be a seaman. So Sean goes to school the next day. A regular school where everyone's just going to be speaking Japanese. He's not going to know a single goddamn word. I guess he's just going to fail immediately. We meet a couple new characters. First off, we got Twinkie.
Japanese food is like the army. Don't ask, don't tell.
Who is basically this movie's Resident Evil 4 merchant. You know, he's always got all sorts of like useful items and wares and goods. But unlike the Resident Evil 4 merchant, as far as we know, Twinkie drives the Incredible Hulkmobile, and also instead of dressing like a school shooter, he dresses like Reese's Puffs. Twinkie is also the only character in the series to actually know that he's in a movie. that keeps me up at night. His knowledge is vast, but I love the guy, salt of the earth. I fucking kill him though. I guess while we're here, we might as well talk about all of the main characters. Neela is a half-Japanese girl played by an actress who is 0% Japanese. She plays Sean's friend/love interest, and is also dating the current Drift King Takashi, but we'll get to him later. Neela is a fellow drifter and car enthusiast. Her parents aren't around anymore, so she actually lives with Takashi's family, which, a little weird. He's basically her stepbrother. Takashi, the Drift King himself. Takashi is the nephew of the head of Tokyo's Yakuza, which makes him an asshole. He's technically not Yakuza, but he basically is. He does various crime-type things, but more importantly, he's just a real piece of work. Just a real no-good guy. Personally, he can suck my dick 6 ways from Sunday. He's abusive, manipulative, he sucks, fuck him. But then we got the real Drift King himself, Kichi Sushiya! Technical consultant on Initial D and king of drifting. He plays a fisherman in this movie. And then we've got Han. Now, Han is a bit of a complicated character. You see, Han's story actually begins in Justin Lin's 2002 film Better Luck Tomorrow.
12 seconds later.
He's like drifting with a safe attached to his car, smashing into like police techno warlord on like a runway, and his girlfriend dies. So then he goes to Japan to drift cars and get pussy.
3 weeks later.
Chasing an armored truck with like a mounted machine gun, trying to chase John Cena to get a doomsday device. Hunted by omnipresent assassins. The shadow government replaced his body with a hologram. In Tokyo Drift, he eats chips. Okay, anyway, now we can get back to the story of Tokyo Drift. So basically, back in America, Sean learned nothing from and immediately challenges Takashi to a race, believing that all street racers' girlfriends can be won if they beat their boyfriend in a race. I'm really good at sentence composition. So Han gives Sean his Nissan Silvia to just, see what happens. Ooh, yeah, that's what happens. Sean completely destroys the car, failing to execute even one drift, and as penance, his soul is entrapped by Han, and by extension, the Yakuza. Eventually, Han and Sean become friends. Han teaches him the splendor of drifting as Takashi loses everything. His girlfriend, his friends, his honor, his respect, his life, his sauce. Sean even just like leaves his dad's house at some point. He just leaves and his dad's like, well, more time for hookers. And Sean moves into Han's garage. Is that a G4 car? Scott the Woz drive that one?
The Red Evo's yours. You're representing me now. What you think? I'm gonna let you roll in a Hyundai?
Yeah, fuck Hyundai! You know I'm a Mercedes boy. God damn it, I just said I was a Mercedes boy. You see, Takashi discovered that Han was embezzling from the Yakuza. So they got in a pretty violent car crash, although the car that hit him, nothing to do with it, just some other shit, just some guy. Later movies would try to tell you this was Jason Statham. It is not. That wasn't Jason Statham. There's no time. There's no time for this scene to happen. So with his mentor dead and Neela stolen by the Yakuza, Sean only has one choice. Challenge Takashi to a race. Loser leaves town. They put the Nissan engine in a Ford Shelby, perfectly merging his past with his present. And they go for a winner-take-all deathmatch on DK's Mountain. Not that one. Sean's dad is like,
At least you're not redoing my mistakes.
He's involved with Yakuza. He's making worse ones. So anyway, Takashi loses because no sauce, and Neela is set free. Sean's the new Drift King, and all is right with the world. What a neat little nice, self-contained story, and what is Vin Diesel doing here? What do you mean you knew Han? Oh shit, I've got a bad feeling this guy just secured the film rights to the Chronicles of Riddick, and has just ruined the Fast and the Furious timeline forever. Wow, I thought this was supposed to be a good movie, but you made it sound like doo-doo poo-poo feces. This sounds stupid. Alright, listen, buddy. I was just giving you the basic plot and character rundowns. With that out of the way, I can get into the philosophy, the symbolism, and the expert storytelling. Okay, but actually, folks, the nuanced satire actually starts immediately. Boys, I'm talking like right at the start of the movie. The movie opens with 2 minutes of no dialogue. Very epic, very artsy. Set to the song 6 Days by Mos Def and DJ Shadow. A song that talks about politics and fear and shit. The high school is obviously an allegory for post 9/11 America. You got students decked out in their pride, meanwhile the school's going super hard in the authoritarianism. At first, we see Sean being stopped and searched. A man sporting no pride who thinks this is all just goofball bullshit. But then, we pan over, and we see the school mascot, somebody who has made pride in his community, in his school, his entire life and identity, being subjected to the same guilty until proven innocent standard. He wields a sword and a shield, the means to fight against tyranny, but he chooses not to, because to him, they're just for show. He doesn't know that they ever meant anything. They both laugh, but for different reasons. The camera zooms out and we see the same scene through the eyes of Big Brother. But what fascinates me even more in this shot is this sign here. Go Ducks, kill the Indians. Folks, this is when it all clicked for me. This is when I knew that I wasn't crazy, that there really was something going on here. Now, the Indians are clearly just a rival school, just the rival mascot of another high school in the area. But if we keep looking at this in the same high school is America, Blink-182, Bowling for Soup metaphor I've been going on, well, then things get a little bit more interesting. The Indians serve as an allegory for racism and xenophobia, an object of hate for Sean's school to focus in on and pin their sights instead of the real enemy. You know, they want us to focus on these bullshit, I hate you because you're different, type of battles. Let the poor and the unwashed masses fight amongst themselves while we sit and watch. Post 9/11 America became obsessed with anti-Muslim or anti-Middle East hate. The media painted the Middle East as these bomb vest wearing maniacs who wanted to kill our babies, and anytime we bombed a wedding it was a day of celebration. But meanwhile, the attacks gave the government free rein to invade any country they wanted to, and full public support to establish domestic agencies to spy on and monitor the people and arrest anyone who steps too far out of line. Or at least, I think that's what Justin Lin was trying to say with this. At least partially. Now, the other side of the coin, and the one that actually connects to Tokyo Drift, is the angle of racism and xenophobia. Tokyo Drift's central theme is being an outsider. Now, it's not a particularly unique message for a movie, but the way Tokyo Drift tackles that subject matter isn't exactly outsiders finding a home. In fact, I don't think Sean, Neela, Twink, or Han were ever really outsiders. The outsider was Takashi. Now, back in the beginning of the movie, we see a group of jocks, patriots, destroying a piñata of a Native American, the rival mascot, as I said earlier. Not only are they literally mocking the genocide and sufferings of actual Native populations by doing this, but symbolically, the message is clear. Destruction is profitable. By destroying the thing that they hate, they reap the rewards. Cheap, acidic candy. Do you think they ever thought that it didn't need to be like this? Do you think they ever, tried to be friends? That's the point of Tokyo Drift's main plot. Takashi never needed to hate Sean. Sean's only crime in this movie, besides his other various crimes, was being white in Tokyo. While Han, being an outsider himself, just saw somebody new, Takashi saw, Gaijin, you are my enemy because you look different and are not from here. If Takashi could have just chilled, Sean would have just hung out, watched some drifting, said, heh, hell yeah, brother, and went home. But by pushing him deeper and deeper into this world, Sean gains new friends and new skills and a whole new life, while Takashi loses everything. The cheap thrill of an easy win turns sour and leaves you with nothing. This movie is all about cultures and where you come from and where you're going, mixing elements of Eastern and Western philosophies. But beyond the main plot of Tokyo Drift, there's also the literary dichotomy between the balance and control you need to drift a car and the balance and control you need to find success in life. To fully explain this, I need to start with Justin Lin's 2002 film Better Luck Tomorrow. Better Luck Tomorrow tells the story of a group of first-generation Asian American high school students who get bored of their lives of studying and honor roll and the expectations and stereotypes placed on them, and begin getting into the American Western hustle get money values, and immediately begin to spiral out, starting with just selling cheat sheets and quickly moving up to crimes that'll get them in jail for the rest of their lives. Now look, I'm of the opinion that you should secure the bag by any means necessary, but the issue these characters run into is that they can't find that perfect work-study/selling crack to white kids life balance. But what does this have to do with Tokyo Drift? Well, stink-ass, Better Luck Tomorrow is Justin Lin telling the story of Eastern values being replaced with Western ones, while Tokyo Drift is Western values being mixed with Eastern values. But where Sean succeeds that Brian fails at is finding that balance, that mixture of morals and ideals, that perfect identity to fit in both places and bring out the best of each society. The one he was born into, cowboy, macho man, win no matter what. That I'm the best cowboy mentality that just continues to get him into trouble no matter where he goes. And it's not until Han and Neela start showing him the more chill and the more relaxed side of drifting and racing that he begins to open up and realize what he's been missing. Sean comes from a culture of balls to the wall, machoism, best guy gets the girl, I gotta be the best, I gotta be number one. Sean's first race with the guy from Home Improvement is a stupid, nonsense race for dumb reasons. Oh, they talked shit about each other's cars, and then Sean challenged his masculinity. Oh, this is important. It was for dumb reasons, and it could have ruined Sean's life. Sean learns to stop taking driving so seriously, but at the same time, learns that he should only race for something if it's important. He should only put that kind of risk on something if it really mattered, because he matters. Finishing off the beginning of the movie, the first race Sean has with Brad from Home Improvement is merely foreshadowing the final race he will have with Takashi. Both races could have easily been avoided, they were both to get a girl, and they were both just the fault of two insecure assholes. The only difference was how Sean evolved to view the world in his time in Tokyo. In the first race, Sean is driving for himself, he just wants to prove that he's better than this guy, and by seeking to only serve himself, all he can do is destroy. But destruction paves the way for rebirth. By the end of the movie, Sean has grown past his childish and selfish ways, and now he races for the honor of Han and to save a friend who probably was going to get sex trafficked by the Yakuza. I mean, it's not said, but for some reason, I feel like that's implied. Takashi didn't grow. He stayed the same insecure, destructive force he always was. And just like Sean and Football Jones at the beginning, he crashed and burned because of it. Now, the asses might be real, but you know what else was real too? Every stunt in this movie. Reese Millen and Samuel Hubenet are just nuts. That spiral drift that Takashi does, the director and the producers and the crew, they were like trying to figure out some sort of like spiral rig so they could just drag the car up. But Reese, my man Reese, he looked at the spiral and he said, "Boss, just give me one chance. Give me one chance, I'll drift up there first try." My boy did it. He did that shit. I want that guy to drift my daughter down the aisle in a 2003 Honda Civic hatchback. And speaking of shit being real, you can't get much realer than the way that this big budget movie was forced to film itself. You see, here in America, we'll shut down a whole city block for weeks to film some stupid bullshit movie nobody cares about. Not in Japan. Japan said to Universal, "Fuck you, fuck the Fast and the Furious, we don't give a shit, we will not give you any film permits." So, they did what any reasonable person would do. they ignored the Japanese government and did it anyway. Yeah, these scenes where Sean's like in a big crowd or in like a bus station, those are real. They just sent the actors there with a cameraman and like a fake crew they hired to get arrested for them.
It was always a challenge in Tokyo because they really respect the people in the community and they don't give out film permits at all. So for us, this big kind of film production company to come in and not knowing if we can get anything, it was definitely a challenge. It was like going back to the indie roots of just guerrilla filmmaking, you know. I just had a camera on a Steadicam, this is Shibuya Square, and these are just people walking around. I just sent Lucas walking all throughout, you know. I'm like, go in the subway station, and we just did it until the cops came and shut us down.
This movie was made by criminals. Arrest these guys. But what's even crazier than just like filming crowd shots, right, is apparently, according to the commentary, during like the big climactic race with Takashi through the streets of Tokyo, for some of the shots, they just were actually in Tokyo, blocked off traffic with some trucks, and filmed the drivers drifting by.
And here, this is Shinjuku coming up. We went guerrilla style. We just kind of had a couple trucks block the street and had the cars drive down, you know. Kind of did it old school.
Instead of faking it in LA like they did for every other scene there. What the fuck? That's so cool! And speaking of criminals, Justin Lin just like apparently hung out with real Yakuza because he wanted to like get it right. Which I find weird because he didn't get the school like food right. So it's like, okay, you're gonna hang out with Yakuza, but you're not going to just like take a tour of a high school. I don't know. But look, I gotta be real. I don't think this is a perfect movie. I know, I'm about to get crucified by the very community I just created. But, you know, I think this movie does have some kind of odd pacing. I would have liked to spend a little bit more time with all these characters, get to know them more. There's a bunch of, like, deleted scenes that are really good. A scene of Twinkie and Sean at a gas station that go more into why he has the Hulkmobile. There are scenes of Takashi and Sean having, like, a conversation in their office. The scenes like a train station where he actually meets Neela for the first time. You know, there's just... I wanted to spend more time with these characters. I wanted to get to know them more, hang out here. This is a comfortable movie. But I think where the pacing feels the weirdest to me is right after Han dies. You know, like that's Han. He just exploded and it just feels like we're going. We just keep going. And the big race that Sean schedules with Takashi isn't even really about Han. It's not to get revenge. It's just kind of like a general, we've been beefing, also let Neela go, like sort of thing. I don't know, it's weird. Like Han's death should have had like a lot more weight. And I guess the rest of the franchise agreed with me. So there's kind of nothing any sort of director's cut could do to fix that. Now, guys, I'm sure you're sitting there, mouth agape, scratching your own asshole going, yo, did I sit on a poop-scented scratch and sniff sticker? Well, city boy, those are some fancy computer words you just said there. But here in these parts, Tokyo Drift is just a mid-tier Fast and Furious movie. We don't like it as much as 6. You don't like it as much as... What about 4? Is it better than 4? I think it's better than 4. It don't got none of that fancy symbolism or politics. It's just a movie. Now, all I can say to that is, listen to this line from the commentary.
Here's the kind of the representation of American high school. Just wanted to get an overall feel of how it is to be in high school today, and just some of the kind of hypocrisies that exist, but do it in a fun way.
But even if Justin Lin didn't throw me that bone, that's the cool thing about art. I can interpret it any way I want. I can sit here for hours and explain my ridiculous, mentally ill, insane interpretation of this 2006 film, while you just sit there with your shirt off, eating chips off of your stupid, dirty chest, going, YouTube video. So, we've just talked about Tokyo Drift for I don't know, like 4 hours. And I'm sure at this point you're wondering why. Why does it matter so much? What, do you think you're gonna change minds? Do you think you're gonna convince anybody who is unsure? I don't know. I just think, you know, there's so many movies out there, and so many film snobs, and people are just so ready to write off movies without ever actually considering them, just because, oh, they're big budget, or they're part of a big franchise. This can't possibly be good. I'm saying, what I wanted to do with this video is just tell you, hey, give shit a fucking chance, because Tokyo Drift is cool. It's about being cool. It's about doing cool shit. So if you're watching Tokyo Drift, you're cool.